Committee meeting of the new year. Welcome everyone. Trace, could you take attendance please? We have a mix of folks in the room and on the phone today.
Supervisor Barrett.
Here.
Supervisor Grasso.
Here.
Lant.
Here.
Raymond.
Here.
Tollison.
Here.
Veach.
Here.
And Chairman Schaaf.
Here.
You have a full quorum.
Thank you. At this point, is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the December 8th meeting?
So moved.
Supervisor Beach, thank you. Second?
Second.
Supervisor Tollison, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right. Next on the agenda is the appointment of a vice chair. Appoint Phil Barrett, supervisor from Clifton Park, if he will accept that appointment.
I will, sir.
Thank you, sir. So the format's a little bit different with this meeting since we did not have regular committee meetings this month due to the schedule. All of the resolutions will fall under law and finance from all the various committees. As such, Administrator Balger is going to go through all of the resolutions. And since we're not breaking them out by individual committee, at the end of this, I will do a request for separate votes if there's any separate votes or discussions on any of those. It's probably the most efficient way to do it. So with that, Administrator Balger.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay. First item under Law and Finance, authorizing the acceptance of a 2020 statewide interoperable communications grant from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services and amending the 2022 county budget in relation thereto. Budget impact none. 100% state aid. 2022 budget will be amended to accept these funds and authorize the related expenses. This grant program helps improve our emergency services communications. Next item, authorizing a renewal agreement with Mission Critical Partners, LLC, for maintenance of the Capital District computer-aided dispatch system. Budget impact, no budget impact. This resolution allows Mission Critical Partners to continue providing monitoring, technical support, on-site computer-aided dispatch, and records management support for the period ending June 30th, 2022. Next item, authorizing an amended agreement with Saratoga Hospital for the use of laboratory and morgue facilities. Budget impact, none. Funds are included in the 2021 and 22 budget. The current agreement with Saratoga Hospital for these facilities is limited to a total cost of $40,000 annually. This amendment will increase the not to exceed limit to $65,000 for 2021 and 2022. Next item, appointing Eugene Ledoux as Deputy Coroner. Budget impact, no budget impact. Next item, renewing and amending an agreement with Tim Godlewski for morgue assistant services. Budget impact, none. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. Mr. Godlewski is the main provider of morgue assistant services for our county coroner. This new agreement increases the rate per case from $125 to $150. Next item, authorizing the acceptance and disbursement of New York State Septic System Replacement Program grant funds and amending the 2021 county budget. Budget impact, none. 100% state aid. The 2021 budget will be amended to accept these funds and authorize the related expenses. The Saratoga County Soil and Water Conservation District administers this state program on behalf of the county. A $10,000 project was completed in 2021 and requires an amendment to the 21 budget. These funds have already been received by the county. Next item, authorizing major contracts for contact tracing services with Meredith Locke in an amount not to exceed $45,500, Tiffany Foley in an amount not to exceed $45,500, and Carolyn Hinchcliffe in an amount not to exceed $45,500. Budget impact, none. Costs associated with these contracts will be covered by a Health Research Inc. grant. Next item, authorizing an agreement with Maxim Healthcare Services to provide nursing services for preschool students. Budget impact, no budget impact. This agreement will provide for mandated nursing services to students with disabilities while on their way to school and throughout the school day. Next item, setting a public hearing for amendment of Consolidated Agricultural Districts 1 and 2. Budget impact? No budget impact. The Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board has approved petitions from 3 landowners for inclusion into existing agricultural districts in the towns of Wilton, Stillwater, and Clifton Park. The county has held the required 30-day review, and this resolution will set the public hearing for the proposed amendments to Ag Districts 1 and 2. Next item, authorizing an amendment to Resolution 96 of 2021 for design, construction, administration, and construction inspection services related to a 1.2-mile section of the Champlain Canalway Trail in the town and village of Waterford. Budget impact? None. 100% state aid. Resolution 96 of 2021 authorized CHA Consulting to provide these services in an amount not to exceed $35,000. CHA is requesting a contract amendment in the amount of $5,000 to cover additional work related to the construction project. And next item, authorizing the county auditor to approve tax refunds, corrections, and credits in amounts not to exceed $2,500. Budget impact? No budget impact. This is an annual housekeeping item and a joint recommendation made by the Director of Real Property and the County Treasurer. The auditor will report all refunds, corrections, or credits to the Real Property Committee. Next item, setting a public hearing on proposed amendment and extensions of the East and West Facilities airport leases with North American Flight Services, Inc. through December 31st, 2061. Budget impact? No budget impact. The public hearing for the North American Flight Services lease extension was originally scheduled in December of 21. This is a request to reschedule the hearing in February 22 on a date and time that is convenient for the Board of Supervisors. Next item, authorizing the extension of a cybersecurity grant eligibility period from the New York State Board of Elections. Budget impact? No budget impact. The original resolution authorized the acceptance of grant funds to reimburse expenses related to security improvements that have been incurred up until December 31st of 2021. The state has now extended the eligibility period of this grant to December 31 of 2023, and this resolution will authorize the acceptance of the change of eligibility period and date. There is no change to the previous grant amount of $128,891.50. Next item, authorizing acceptance of a grant from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation and amending the 2022 county budget in relation thereto. Budget impact? None. 100% local aid. The county historian secured a grant to erect 2 historic markers, both of which are in the village of Ballston Spa. The first, acknowledging the long history of the Saratoga County Fairgrounds on Fairground Avenue, and the second being a Legends and Lore marker covering the story of Franklin Spring located on Malta Avenue. Next item, introducing a local law to amend Local Law 2 of 1968 to increase the population threshold for an additional county supervisor and scheduling a public hearing. Budget impact? None. Local Law 2 of 1968 provides for weighted voting system and number of supervisors on the board based on census numbers for town and city populations. Local Law 2 of 68 has been amended each decade to raise the population threshold for an additional supervisor. Most recently in 2011, the population threshold for an additional supervisor was raised to 25,000. As a result of the 2020 countywide federal census, an amendment is necessary to maintain the existing number of supervisors. The proposed local law would raise the population threshold for an additional supervisor to 27,500. This resolution will set a public hearing in February 2022 on a date and time that is convenient for the Board of Supervisors. Next item, adopting a local law to provide salary and cost of living increase for certain county officials. Budget impact? None. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. This local law adopts the salary and cost of living increase for certain elected or appointed county officials previously approved by the Board of Supervisors. A public hearing was held earlier today at 3:45 p.m. and no comments were received. Next item, authorizing an agreement with Gill Technical Inc. for cabling for the Public Safety Building. Budget impact, none. Funds are included in the Public Safety Building Capital Fund. Gill Technical will provide and install communication equipment for the total cost of $22,773.27. Next item, amending an agreement with Twin State for the public address system and intercoms at the Public Safety Building. Budget impact, no budget impact. This resolution will amend the not to exceed amount with Twin State from $20,454.47 to $34,100.43. The next three items were all approved at the most recent Sewer Commission meeting held on January 6, 2021. The first is rescinding Resolution 291 of 2021 and authorizing an agreement with Midstate Technologies Limited for the replacement of a roof at Building 2 of the Saratoga County Sewer District's wastewater treatment plant. Budget impact, no budget impact. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. Resolution 291 of 2021 awarded this contract to VAD Contracting Inc., who withdrew from the bid award before a contract was executed. This resolution would award the contract to the second lowest bidder, Midstate Industries, for $352,811. Next item, authorizing an agreement with Adirondack Environmental Services, Inc. to conduct continuing lab testing and wastewater analysis. Budget impact, no budget impact. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. The resolution will authorize the chairman to execute a renewal agreement in an amount not to exceed $70,000 for lab testing. Next item, authorizing an amendment to an agreement with Arcadis of New York, Inc. Budget impact, no budget impact. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. The executive director of the sewer district has recommended that the testing of chemical parameters be increased across different aeration basins in different seasons to assist the sewer district in assessing the effects of certain chemicals discharged to the wastewater treatment plant. This amendment will change the not to exceed amount from $24,500 to $68,500. Next item, authorizing an agreement with a former employee for the Department of Motor Vehicles. Budget impact, none. Funds are included in the 2022 budget. This agreement will allow the former Director of Motor Vehicles to provide consulting services to assist the county clerk. Next item, authorizing the establishment and application process for the Saratoga County Nonprofit COVID Relief Grant Fund. Budget impact, no budget impact. The Board of Supervisors will be offering the opportunity to nonprofit groups across the county who were negatively impacted by the pandemic to apply for funding to support programs and projects that are beneficial to the residents of our county. A total of $2 million will be made available for grants ranging in size from $500 to $50,000. The Law and Finance Committee will review all applications and make recommendations to the full board for final approval. Applications will be made available online following approval of this program by the board.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on any of those resolutions?
I have one question.
Yes, Mr. Fred Tolson.
So just on the resolution regarding contact tracing, I don't expect an answer today, but obviously the governor just announced that contact tracing is something optional. So at some point, I don't know if there's an exit strategy for the county or what the county's doing. And I'm not asking for a response today, but I noticed that's on there for continued contact tracing. So because she just announced it, it's obviously something that we need to discuss internally and through the health committees. But I'm fine with the resolution the way it exists, but I think we should just at some point just talk about that later on.
Dr. Cruz is on the phone.
So,
Dr. Cool's on the phone?
yes.
Yeah, hi,
Can you hear
Doctor.
me?
Yes, hi. Can you speak to that question? Or?
Yeah, certainly. This is, the efficacy of contact tracing at times of high transmission. For many months we've been, trying to educate folks in the public and the state health department that its efficacy is significantly less, as people can plainly see. And so we were happy to hear the health commissioner acknowledge that yesterday. Certainly, we are working, all local health departments are working with the state health department to come up with a plan, an approach to deal with COVID in ways other than an emergency response. We will continue to make good use of the resources that the board provides. I would say, one thing that I've learned over 2 years, both with the state health department and here my time in Saratoga, is, don't try to predict COVID. And so, this would keep a resource open, but not necessarily compel us to use it.
Thank you. Answer your question, Kevin?
Like I said, I was not looking for a response today. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm just looking, down the road. I think it's something that health committee and obviously consultation with Dr. Cools, who's our leader there, makes a decision on.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes.
Just on the resolution for Maxim Healthcare Services, just a note, I don't have any problem with moving forward with that organization, but there's just, by the time this gets in front of the board, if we could just get there's no financial information in the agenda request, and there's no draft resolution along with it. So if those could just get included by the time it gets in front of the full board, so we can review that. And then on the resolution for CHA and the work on the Champlain Canal Trail, I've got to recuse myself from that action. So if you
Okay.
need a special vote, go ahead. If not, I'm going to recuse myself.
Yeah, just note your recusal at the
Okay.
time of the vote.
Thanks.
The way to go for that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just in response quickly to Supervisor Grasso, and we will get this information out in writing to all the board. That Maxim agreement, the hourly rates for nurse staff is school LPN $52 per hour and school RN $57 an hour, as per the recommendation of an individual education plan or IEP. The county will work with the school districts to oversee and monitor the nurses from Maxim Healthcare Services, but we'll get you more information, more detail.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
Make a motion to approve those resolutions.
Thank you. I just have one question before we go to motion. Dan, for the Adirondack Environmental Services, the 70K, is that the COVID wastewater testing rearing its head again, or is that something else?
No, just typical speed.
He needs to speak into the microphone.
All right, thank you.
No.
He just referenced it's for Speedy's testing. So. Thanks. So at this time, is there any request for any separate votes? All right, hearing none. Supervisor Tolleson, I believe you moved the entirety of the resolutions. Is there a second?
Second.
Supervisor Lant. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to repeat myself on that one that I noted.
Thank you. And then we have several chairman's items for appointments to the Water Authority, Sewer District, and Community Services Board. And before we set the agenda, we do have to have an executive session to discuss certain proposed pending or current litigation.
Take a vote on the chairman's items because they won't be resolutions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, Steve, wait one.
Before we go into the executive session, we'll vote on the chairman's items. Steve, can you just go through those real quickly?
Yes, the appointment to the sewer district is the Saratoga Springs representative will be Joseph O'Neill. The appointment to the Water Authority, I didn't have that written down here. We have that? You do.
Mike Hardin here. The appointment to the Water Authority is for Supervisor Hammond to replace Darren O'Connor. Sewer District is Kyle Fillion, Town of Wilton, Mr. O'Neill from the City of Saratoga Springs, and Mr. Dick Doyle. And I forgot Community Services Board is Mr. Marcone, Mr. Paul Marcone, representing the mental health community. Those are the sewer commissioner.
Joe, who's the other sewer commissioner?
Yes, Dick Doyle.
Dick Doyle.
Town of Boston. Thank you, Supervisor Grasso, for reminding me. It's Commissioner Doyle from the Town of Boston to be reappointed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions on that resolution? Those chairman's items, rather? Is there a motion to move them?
So moved.
Supervisor Beach, second.
Second.
Supervisor Raymond. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And at this point, we'll need enter into an executive session for discussing proposed pending or current litigation. I'd also invite our County Treasurer, Drew Jarash, will be necessary to the discussion, County Attorney Mike Hartnett, Administrator Balger, and is Chad Cook here in the room? He's calling in on the phone, so if we can keep him on the line for the discussion as well, that'd be great.
We need a motion to enter into it.
Is there a motion to enter in? Supervisor Beach, second. Supervisor Tolleson, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're now in executive session. I'd ask everybody. All right. Back on the record, back in from executive session. We exited executive session on motion by Supervisor Raymond, second by Supervisor Barrett. Unanimous vote. No decision was made during the executive session time. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to set the agenda items for this month's board meeting.
So moved.
Supervisor Tolleson, second. Supervisor Beach, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to any other business before the board? No, hearing none. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Supervisor Grasso, second by Supervisor Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're out.